So after 10 years, we got a glimpse at Team Stark. And man, I am not disappointed. I am so happy. Summer and Raven. What a revelation. I knew I've always wanted to see their interaction, but I never knew I would love it this much. That little shoulder shove that she gave Raven, showing that they're not on the best of terms right now and that Summer isn't taking any of Raven's BS, was just perfect. I just know she stepped out of the house with the black Air Force Ones on her feet. And I guess this also confirms where RWBY gets her sass from. From her outfit, to her weapon, to her drip, that cape, y'all. It's so Little Red Riding Hood, I freaking love it. But of course, the person who stole this scene was Raven. This entire time, Raven has been portrayed as this cold, selfish character that just abandoned her team and her daughter in order to save her own skin, taking shots at Summer and Crow, and even crossing blades with her own family, all because
you're afraid of Salem.
But I can't even lie. If I learned that I'm up against an immortal enemy that's been alive since the start of the world, and all we have is the power of friendship and optimism, yeah, I just might head out too. I wouldn't start a family, but of course, some things just aren't planned. But here, we have a younger, less matured, less hardened version of Raven that understands her own faults and even admits that Summer is just better at that family stuff. Raven admits from the start that she isn't cut out for that kind of life, but as we've seen in the show, she still tries. Crow said it best himself.
Raven's got an interesting way of looking at the world.
I've always enjoyed Raven, but seeing her in this vulnerable state as she's talking to her friend, I just love it. I really do. Especially because many of us have depicted Summer, at least in most fanfiction, as this very playful and outgoing person like RWBY. And while that might be the case for most situations, in this scene, we get a very fierce Summer, much like RWBY in Volume 6 and during her speech to Salem before she got utterly destroyed. So of course, like any fan of the show would do, I had to go back and watch Volumes 4 and 5 just to get an even better picture of Raven after this flashback. And one line stuck out to me, and it breaks my heart.
Don't know what I've been through, the choices I've had to make.
The choices that I've had to make. I wonder, had Raven never agreed to help Summer, if her friend would still be with her husband and kid? We don't know the full story of Stark just yet, but it's clear that Raven still holds some guilt and anger from her past actions. And honestly, it just sucks seeing this family so happy and together when we know what happens, especially with Ty. It's why I still like Ying's line when she faced Salem.
Summer Rose, my mom. Her again.
Summer Rose wasn't Ying's birth mom, but she took care of her like she was her own. Sure, Raven kept tabs on Ying, but who was actually there to nurture and care for Ying? It was Summer. All that Ying's had to do was just ask questions and wonder why her mom left. I can't imagine the type of effect that that's had on her. Then again, my dad left to go get milk, so maybe Ying and I are more alike than I thought. Now, the important part. Who was Raven and Summer teleporting to? The obvious answer would be, of course, Crow. And while likely due to Raven only being able to teleport to people that she's close with, I think it'd be best to keep Summer's death between her and Raven. I believe it's better this way because it reveals a deeper layer to Raven's character. Having her know information that's vital to the rest of the cast will provide us with a deeper perspective on just who Raven is and why she's on her current path. It's without a doubt that Summer and Raven have had a huge impact on Crow's life. The man burdened with bad luck. It'd be very unlucky if his own sister got one of his best friends killed. Going back to Volume 7, Crow specifically stated that Summer's last mission was a summer secret. While he could have just lied, the way he said it just sounds like there's a bit of curiosity in his words, like he doesn't fully understand what happened. But Raven being who she is, with having Summer along her, I doubt they would have gone to anyone else but Crow, especially since they're part of Osmond's inner circle by this point. And we can also hear Raven's transformation cue, so we know Osmond fully trusts them, at least enough to give them magic. Even if it is Crow, they still manage to hide the truth from him. But for now, The actual Stark flashback. How much time should be allotted for Stark? A 26-minute episode like The Lost Fable? A couple minutes like Jon's flashback? A season's worth of Stark? I feel like it just really depends on how many more volumes of RWBY there's left. Let's just go at 13 volumes. That gives us 2 volumes for Vacuo and 2 volumes for the final arc of the series. So if that's the case, then I'd say we may get maybe 1 or 2 30-minute episodes on it. I know, a lot. Which they should take place during volume 12. I say volume 12 and not 13 because I don't want the last arc to derail and go off into a flashback. Let the final battle with Salem be the center and main focus of the volume. I think it would be best to put Stark at the second to last volume so that we, the audience, have really time to sit on it and dive deeper into the entire story of RWBY. I say 30 minutes because I was really trying to figure out what content would be most beneficial for us to see. While having Stark become a team, learning to live together, and seeing their day-to-day lives would be nice and my personal fever dream, we have to be realistic and take the most important parts. What did Stark see on their missions? The fall of their team? Osmond opening up their eyes to the war on Salem? How did it tie back to one of the most hottest women in the show? These are all very important questions that need to be answered, especially that last one. Take notes. But considering The Lost Fable was 24 minutes and they were able to showcase a lot in that span of time, I wouldn't be surprised if we got around the same length. But we need a full flashback because the events of Team Stark have been the backbone of the entire series. So much has stemmed from this one team and their actions. Thus, it needs to be given the proper amount of time before the series end. I wouldn't be opposed to getting a Stark movie, but we need to see it in the show first. Regardless, I'm glad we got part of a Team Stark flashback, and I'm very curious as to when they'll show them next. I think it would be good for it to be told from Raven's perspective, just because I feel like she knows the entire story of what happened. And while we might have another wish from the relic, let's use that for something that isn't a backstory. For now, that's all from me, and this kicks off week 1 of my RWBY hiatus discussions. Leave your thoughts about Stark below, and I'll be happy to discuss them with you.